Have you ever noticed the quiet, heavy sinking in your chest when you look at the lives of those around you? You open your phone, and there it is. A friend buying their first home, a colleague announcing an engagement, a classmate stepping into a powerful new career, and suddenly, a life that felt perfectly fine just moments ago now feels terribly incomplete. A strange panic sets in, the panic that you are running out of time, the fear that everyone else has figured out a secret you have somehow missed. If you have ever felt stuck, anxious, or profoundly behind in life, this is for you. 1. The illusion of the timeline. Here is the truth few people want to face. Most of your suffering in these moments is not caused by where you are in life. It is caused by how tightly you are holding onto the idea of where you should be. You are breaking your own heart by measuring your reality against an invisible clock, a clock that does not actually exist. We live in a world that insists on a race. We are told there is an exact age to be successful, an exact season to find love, a deadline to have everything figured out. And when life does not, you feel an overwhelming sense of failure. You replay the past, wondering where you took the wrong turn. You look at your friends and wonder why their path looks so smooth, while yours feels like a series of closed doors. But Buddhist wisdom teaches a profound lesson about the nature of our suffering. The root of our pain is not our current circumstance, but our attachment to an illusion. In this case, the illusion is the timeline itself. Think of a forest. If you stand among the trees, you will see a vast variety of life. A bamboo shoot may spend 5 years growing entirely underground, building a massive root system in the dark, before springing 80 feet into the sky in a matter of weeks. An oak tree, however, grows slowly, silently, widening its trunk year after year, building strength to withstand centuries of storms. If the bamboo looked at the oak, it might feel terribly behind. If the oak looked at the bamboo, it might feel hopelessly slow. But neither tree is racing the other. They are simply answering the call of their own nature. They are rooted in their own soil, drinking their own rain, trusting their own season. Now, think about your own life. Why are you judging your oak tree journey by a bamboo tree timeline? When you watch someone else achieve what you want, it is so easy to feel diminished. It is so easy to believe that their success somehow subtracts from your own potential. We treat life like a crowded room with only one door, panicking when someone else walks through it first. But another person's harvest does not mean your field is barren. Ask yourself, whose timeline are you actually trying to follow? Is it yours, or is it a borrowed expectation? An echo of society, family, or the deep fear of being left behind? Pause, breathe, observe this anxiety without letting it become your identity. When the feeling of being behind arises, let it rise. Watch it like a cloud passing across a wide open sky. You do not have to pull that cloud down and wrap yourself in it. You do not have to believe the story it tells you. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be, to learn the lessons required for your unique path. Because peace is not found by rushing to the finish line. It is found by making peace with the step you are on right now. But letting go of this imaginary timeline is only the first step. To truly find freedom, we must understand why we are running in the first place. And this is where the next truth begins. 2. The invisible race of comparison. What if the race you are running so desperately has no finish line? Here is a quiet, painful truth. We spend so much of our lives looking sideways. You see a friend celebrating a major milestone, and while you smile and offer warm congratulations, a familiar ache blooms in your chest. You wonder, when is it my turn? You begin to measure your worth not by your own internal growth, but by the physical distance between you and the people around you. You look at their polished achievements, the shiny new keys, the wedding ring, the sudden leap in their career. and you unknowingly use their joy as a weapon against yourself. This is the invisible race of comparison, and it is entirely exhausting. Buddhist wisdom reminds us that comparison is one of the deepest traps of the restless mind. It is born from a state of constant outward looking, driven by the false belief that happiness and success are scarce resources. We convince ourselves that if someone else has found their place in the world, there is somehow less space left for us. We allow our minds to create a harsh separation, turning fellow travelers on the journey of life into competitors in a bitter, unannounced contest. But in Buddhist thought, to compare is to suffer, because it pulls you completely out of your own reality. You cannot be present in your own life if your eyes are locked on someone else's path. Imagine a river flowing down a high mountain toward the ocean. Along the way, the water splits into two streams. One stream rushes violently over steep, jagged rocks, carving quickly through canyons and reaching the valley floor in a matter of days. The other stream meanders slowly, winding through a dense, quiet forest, watering ancient tree roots and taking years to finally find its way to the sea. If the gentle stream spent its entire journey comparing its speed to the rushing water, it would feel like a constant failure. It would completely miss the life it was sustaining along its own banks. It would not realize that its slow, deliberate pace was exactly what the forest needed to survive. Both streams reach the ocean in the end, but they have entirely different purposes along the way. Think about your own life in the modern world. When you stare at the digital screens showcasing the achievements of your peers, you are only seeing the rushing water. You see the arrival, not the long journey. You see the victory, not the unseen years of doubt, the closed doors, or the quiet, hidden struggles that person faced. We constantly compare our darkest, messiest realities with everyone else's carefully curated highlight reel. Ask yourself, if you stopped looking at everyone else, would you still feel behind? If there were no audience to judge your progress, would you still be unhappy with the simple life you are building right now? Stop trying to force yourself forward on a track made for someone else. When the heavy ache of comparison rises in your chest, do not judge your mind. Do not judge yourself for feeling it, but do not feed it either. Pause, breathe. Gently return your focus to your own feet, standing on your own ground. Celebrate the success of others, not because you are supposed to, but because their victory does not diminish yours. Their light does not cast a shadow on your path. You do not need to overtake anyone to be worthy of peace. But stepping off this track is deeply difficult when we are carrying heavy baggage that does not even belong to us. And this leads us to the next profound realization. 3. The weight of borrowed expectations. What if the heaviness you feel right now is not actually yours to carry? Most of the time, when we feel hopelessly behind in life, we assume the pain is a sign that we are failing. We look at our empty hands, our uncertain careers, or our quiet, solitary lives, and we feel a crushing pressure to fix it. We push ourselves to work harder, to seek out relationships faster, to climb the ladder, to buy the house, to finally become the person everyone expects us to be. But what if you are not failing at all? What if you are simply exhausted from carrying dreams that do not belong to you? Buddhism reminds us that much of our suffering comes from clinging to conditioned desires. From the moment we are born, the world hands us a script. We are told what a successful life looks like. We are given a checklist of achievements and a timeline to complete them. Over time, we internalize these external demands so deeply that we mistake them for our own voice. We become desperately attached to an idea of success that we never actually chose for ourselves. Imagine a traveler walking up a beautiful winding mountain path. As they begin their journey, they carry a small light pack with only what they need. But along the way, They meet others who insist on adding things to their bag. Society drops in a heavy stone and says, "This is the wealth you must acquire." Family drops in another stone and says, "This is the relationship you must secure." Culture drops in a third stone and says, "This is the status you must achieve." Eventually, the traveler is on their hands and knees, weeping from the weight, completely unable to look up at the sky or enjoy the mountain air. They believe they are weak for struggling to climb. They do not realize the problem is not their strength. The problem is the stones. Think about your own life. How many stones are you currently carrying? When you feel that sharp sting of inadequacy because a friend bought a house or got a promotion, look closely at the pain. Are you truly grieving because your soul desperately wants those exact things right now? Or are you suffering because you believe you should want them? Are you hurting because you are afraid of what others will think of you if you arrive empty-handed? We spend so much energy trying to prove our worth to a world that is not even paying attention. We exhaust ourselves trying to meet borrowed expectations, only to find that even when we achieve them, the victory feels entirely hollow. Ask yourself, what are you still holding on to just to appease someone else? What are you afraid will happen if you simply let go of the script? Pause, breathe. Imagine taking off that heavy backpack, unzipping it, and pulling out every expectation that is not deeply, truly yours. You do not have to carry them anymore. You can leave them on the side of the trail. Let the feeling of inadequacy rise. Recognize that it is an echo of someone else's voice, and gently let it pass. You do not need to perform your life for an audience, because true freedom begins the moment you stop trying to fulfill a destiny written by someone else. But setting down these heavy expectations leaves an uncomfortable empty space. When you stop chasing the life you were told to want, you might suddenly feel entirely lost. And this brings us to the next profound truth. 4. The danger of chasing someone else's destination. What if arriving at the wrong destination is far more painful than feeling left behind? When the heavy panic of feeling behind sets in, a dangerous shift happens within us. You stop asking what brings you peace, and you start asking what will make you look successful. You see a colleague advance in their career, and suddenly you are applying for jobs you do not even want. You see a friend marry, and suddenly you are trying to force a broken relationship to work, terrified of being alone. You begin to steer your entire life by the panic, rather than by your own internal compass. Buddhism teaches us about the danger of false refuge. When we act out of fear, lacking, or envy, we build our lives on a foundation of illusion. In Buddhist thought, taking action simply to escape an uncomfortable feeling only creates deeper suffering. You are chasing a mirage. And a mirage, no matter how desperately you run toward it, can never quench your thirst. Imagine a small boat moving through rough water on a vast, dark ocean. The captain has a map and is meant to find a quiet, hidden island. But in the distance, they see a massive, brightly lit ship moving quickly in the opposite direction. Panic sets in. The captain thinks, that ship is moving so fast, they must know where they are going. If I do not follow, I will be lost in the dark. So, the captain abandons their own map. They turn their small boat around and spend all their energy chasing the wake of the larger ship. But when they finally arrive, they find themselves in a freezing, barren harbor. It is a destination the larger ship was built to endure, but one the small boat was never meant to survive. Think about your own choices. How many decisions have you made recently purely out of panic? We take jobs that drain our spirit just to have an impressive title to announce. We rush into commitments because the silence of waiting feels unbearable. We abandon our quiet, beautiful dreams because they do not look impressive enough on a screen. We trade our authentic journey for a cheap imitation of someone else's life. And the tragedy is, you may actually catch up. You may get the title, the house, the status, but you will sit in that house feeling entirely hollow, realizing you climbed a mountain only to find it was the wrong one. Ask yourself, are you moving towards something you genuinely love, or are you just running away from the fear of being left out? If you finally got the thing you are envying today, would it actually bring you deep, lasting peace? Or would it just be another heavy stone to carry? Pause, breathe, look at the compass of your own heart. Stop steering by the wake of another person's ship. Let the feeling of urgency pass without acting upon it. Do not let the noise of the world force your hand. When you feel the desperate urge to catch up, do nothing. Wait until the water is still. Then choose your direction, because a slow journey to the right destination is always better than a fast sprint to the wrong one. But to find the courage to stay on your own course, you must learn to trust the unseen rhythms of life. And this is where the next truth begins. 5. The wisdom of natural timing. What if the very thing you are desperately trying to force is simply waiting for its proper season? Here is a truth that is incredibly difficult to accept when you are in pain. Life does not move in a straight line, but we are conditioned to believe it should. We believe that if we are not constantly seeing visible forward motion, we are failing. So, when the career stalls, when the relationship does not materialize, when the empty space in our lives grows loud, we panic. We try to force the door open. We try to manipulate circumstances, exhaust ourselves with effort, and push for outcomes before they are ready, simply because we cannot tolerate the feeling of standing still. Buddhist wisdom teaches a profound lesson about the natural order of the universe. In Buddhism, we learn that everything, every joy, every sorrow, every period of growth, and every season of rest is subject to the law of impermanence. Everything comes and goes in its own time. Suffering arises the moment we try to override this natural rhythm. When we demand that winter act like spring, we do not create warmth. We only create frustration. Imagine a small seed planted in the cold, dark earth in the middle of winter. To the outside observer, nothing is happening. The soil is flat. The field is barren. If you were to look at this field, you might think it is entirely dead, entirely left behind by the vibrancy of life. But beneath the surface, in complete silence and darkness, the seed is doing the most vital work of its existence. It is breaking out of its hard shell. It is slowly reaching its roots down into the soil to find water. It is anchoring itself so that when the spring finally comes, it has the strength to push through the heavy earth and face the sun. If you were to dig up that seed halfway through winter just to check on its progress, you would not speed up its growth. You would destroy it. Think about your own periods of waiting. When you are sitting in the quiet, lonely phases of life, it is so easy to feel like nothing is happening. You look at friends who are blooming in their springtime, marrying, buying homes, stepping into new lives, and you feel like your field is barren. But what if you are simply in the dark earth? What if this long, quiet season is exactly where you are meant to be, building the emotional resilience, the wisdom, and the deep roots required to hold the heavy, beautiful life that is waiting for you? Ask yourself, are you trying to dig up the seed of your life just to prove to the world that you are growing? Are you exhausted because you are trying to force a harvest in the middle of winter? Pause, breathe, let the desperation for immediate results rise, and let it fall. Do your part in the present moment. Water the soil where you stand right now. Be kind to yourself in the silence, and then release the outcome. Stop trying to force the door open. If it remains closed, it is not your door, or it is not yet your time. Because peace is not found by rushing the seasons, it is found by trusting the dark, quiet work of the present moment. But to fully trust your own season, you must first unlearn the rigid rules of where you are supposed to be. And this is where the next truth begins. 6. Detaching from the shoulds. What if the heaviest word in your vocabulary is the very thing tearing you away from your own life? Here is a quiet, hidden truth. We spend a massive portion of our lives torturing ourselves with a single word: should. I should be married by now. I should own a home like my friends do. I should be further along in my career. I should have everything figured out. We treat these shoulds as absolute laws of nature. And when our actual, messy, unpredictable lives do not align with these laws, we feel a profound sense of shame. We believe we are broken. Buddhism teaches us that the root of our suffering is often found in our resistance to what actually is. We suffer because we cling fiercely to a mental image of how things ought to be, and we wage an internal war against the present moment. In Buddhist thought, this is the trap of rigid attachment. When you attach your happiness to a fixed, imaginary blueprint of the future, you become completely blind to the reality standing right in front of you. Imagine a traveler holding a very old, rigid map. They wander into a lush, beautiful, quiet forest. The air is cool, and a clear stream runs gently through the trees. But the traveler looks at their map, and the map says there should be a bustling, loud city exactly where they are standing. Instead of resting in the shade, drinking the water, and enjoying the profound peace of the forest, the traveler becomes furious. They sit on a rock, weeping with frustration. They feel completely lost and deeply betrayed. They are surrounded by exquisite beauty, but they are suffering terribly, not because the forest is bad, but because they believe the forest should not be there. They are missing a beautiful reality because they are obsessed with a piece of paper. Think about your own life. How often do you stare at the map society handed you and hate the beautiful forest you are currently standing in? You might have a quiet, peaceful life right now. You might have the freedom to wake up on a Sunday morning and simply rest. You might have deep, evolving friendships or a creative passion that brings you joy. But you cannot appreciate any of it because your mind keeps screaming that you should have a mortgage, a spouse, or a grand title by now. You let the shoulds ruin the grace of the present moment. We abandon the life we actually have to mourn a life that does not even exist. Ask yourself, how many beautiful moments have you destroyed by telling yourself they were not enough? Who are you truly trying to satisfy with all these shoulds? Pause. Breathe. The next time you hear that heavy word echo in your mind, catch it. Observe the thought without following it down the spiral of guilt. Do not judge yourself, but gently replace the should with what is. Acknowledge the forest you are standing in. You do not have to have it all figured out right now. You do not have to match the timeline of your friends. You can simply be here. Drop the heavy, outdated map. Because peace is never found by finally forcing reality to match the rigid blueprint in your head. It is found by burning the blueprint altogether and walking freely in the open air. But once you stop fighting the present moment, you are left with the quiet reality of where you are standing today. And this leads us to the next profound realization. 7. The beauty of the present step. What if the moment you are trying so hard to escape is the very moment you will one day look back and long for? Here is a profound tragedy of the human experience. We spend so much of our lives treating the present moment as a waiting room. You sit in the apartment you once prayed for, but now it feels too small because a friend just bought a house. You hold the job you once desperately wanted, but now it feels inadequate because a colleague was promoted. You constantly rush past the reality of today, your eyes fiercely locked on the horizon. You believe that your real life will finally begin only after you cross the next invisible finish line. But Buddhist wisdom teaches us that life only exists in one place. It does not exist in the heavy memories of yesterday, and it certainly does not exist in the imagined achievements of tomorrow. It only exists right now, In this very breath, when we obsess over the next step, we completely abandon the step we are currently standing on. We miss the profound, quiet beauty of simply being alive. Imagine a deep, still lake perfectly reflecting the silver light of a full moon. When the water is completely calm, resting peacefully in the present moment, the reflection is flawless. The lake holds the entire sky within its surface. But suppose the water becomes restless. Suppose the lake decides it is tired of being a lake and desperately wants to become the ocean. It begins to churn, throwing turbulent waves in every direction, desperately trying to force itself forward into a new shape. In its frantic attempt to become something else, the surface breaks. The beautiful reflection shatters into 1,000 unrecognizable pieces. The lake does not become the ocean. It only loses the moon. Think about your own mind. When you are sitting alone on a quiet evening, do you let the water be still? Or do you violently churn the surface with anxious thoughts of everything you have not yet achieved? We ruin the peace of our current step by believing it is simply not enough. We look at our single, quiet lives and feel a deep sense of failure, entirely missing the exquisite freedom of an unburdened evening. We look at our steady, unremarkable routines and feel deeply left behind, entirely missing the quiet dignity and stability of the life we have already built. We are so busy chasing a grand, cinematic ending that we blindly trample all the delicate, beautiful flowers growing at our feet today. Ask yourself, what is quietly beautiful about your life, exactly as it is right now? If you stripped away all the comparison and all the fear of being behind, what is holding you, sheltering you, or bringing you a tiny spark of joy in this very moment? Pause, breathe. Bring your attention back to your own physical space. Feel your feet resting firmly on the ground. Observe the quiet rhythm of your own chest. Let the frantic urge to rush forward slowly dissolve into the earth. You are not in a waiting room. You are in your life. Stop rushing past your own existence. Savor the step you are on, even if it feels small, and even if it feels deeply uncertain. Because true peace is never found by finally reaching the perfect destination. It is found by making a home within the journey itself. But to truly rest in this present step, we have to entirely change the way we measure our own worth. And this is where the next truth begins. 8. Redefining success from within. What if the victory you are so desperately chasing is exactly what is making you feel so empty? Here is a quiet, painful truth. We live in a world obsessed with loud, visible success. We are taught from a very young age that progress must be something you can hold up for others to see. A shiny new job title, a larger house, a diamond ring. We measure our entire worth by the applause of people who are barely paying attention. And because of this, when our achievements are small, internal, or invisible, we feel like absolute failures. We look at our friends making grand announcements, and we feel a crushing sense of inadequacy, believing our own lives have amounted to nothing. But Buddhist wisdom teaches us that true wealth can never be measured by external conditions. In Buddhist thought, the highest form of success is not accumulation, but liberation. It is the deep, unshakable peace of a mind that no longer needs the world's validation to feel complete. When you attach your worth to external milestones, you become a prisoner to the opinions of others. You hand the keys to your happiness to a society that will never be satisfied. Imagine a single small candle burning steadily in a quiet, dark room. Across the city, a massive display of fireworks explodes in the night sky. The fireworks are loud, colorful, and impossible to ignore. Thousands of people stop what they are doing to point, cheer, and take pictures. But within a few seconds, the explosions vanish, leaving behind nothing but cold smoke, falling ash, and an echoing silence. The candle, however, does not seek an audience. It does not panic because it is not a firework. It simply burns, providing a steady, gentle, and enduring light to the room it occupies. It offers warmth to anyone who sits beside it. Its value is not in its volume, but in its quiet, unwavering presence. Think about your own life in the modern world. We are entirely surrounded by fireworks. Every time you open your phone, you see the explosive, carefully curated triumphs of everyone you know. And when you look down at your own quiet life, you feel ashamed of your candle. But society does not give out trophies for the things that actually matter. Nobody applauds when you finally learn to sit alone in a room without feeling terrified. Nobody sends a congratulatory card when you heal a deep emotional wound, or when you gently forgive someone who never apologized. Nobody throws a party when you finally learn to like the person staring back at you in the mirror. These are the quiet, invisible victories, and they are worth more than any title the world could ever hand you. Ask yourself, whose applause are you actually working for? If you moved to a place where no one knew your name, and no one could ever see your achievements, what would you choose to do with your life today? Pause. Breathe. Let the desperate need for external validation rise, and watch it dissolve into the quiet air. Stop letting the world tell you what is valuable. Reclaim your own definition of success. Celebrate your quiet endurance. Honor the invisible battles you have fought and won, because a life built for the applause of strangers will always leave you feeling hopelessly behind. But a life built on profound inner peace can never be taken away. Once you realize that the invisible scoreboard was an illusion all along, you are finally free to walk in the only direction that actually matters. And this brings us to our final truth. 9. Returning to your own path. What if the greatest gift you could ever give yourself is permission to simply step off the track? Think back to that heavy, sinking feeling in your chest. The one that arrives when you see the announcements, the celebrations, and the grand milestones of everyone around you. The panic that tells you time is running out. The quiet, devastating fear that you have somehow been forgotten by life. For so long, you have treated that pain as a signal that you need to run faster. You have carried the heavy stones of borrowed expectations, desperately trying to force the door open, trying to demand that your winter act like spring. You have exhausted your spirit trying to steer your small boat into the wake of someone else's ship. But you do not have to live this way anymore. Buddhism reminds us that liberation is not found by finally winning the race. Liberation is found by realizing there was never a race to begin with. The track was an illusion. The timeline was a ghost. The only reality is the ground beneath your feet, right here, right now. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast, open field at dawn. For years, you have been running on a crowded, narrow, paved road alongside everyone else, pushing, striving, terrified of falling behind. But today, you stop. You step off the pavement and onto the soft, wild grass. The crowd rushes past you, a blur of panic and noise. But you are no longer part of it. You breathe the cool morning air. You look up at the wide, open sky. For the first time in your life, you are not measuring your location against the person next to you. You are simply walking into the beautiful, uncharted wilderness of your own existence. Think about your own life. You are the oak tree, taking the time you need to build deep, resilient roots. You are the gentle stream, watering the quiet forest on your way to the sea. You are the candle, burning steadily in a room that only you can warm. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be. When you finally let go of the timeline, you make space for true peace. You make space for a life that is actually yours. You no longer have to perform for an invisible audience. You no longer have to grieve a map that never belonged to you in the first place. You can finally rest in the profound, quiet dignity of your own unique journey. Ask yourself, What would happen if you simply trusted your own life today? What if you decided that your path, with all its delays, quiet moments, and unseen victories, was exactly right? Pause, breathe. Let the heavy burden of comparison fall from your shoulders. Forgive yourself for all the times you made yourself feel small just because your path looked different. Honor the resilience it took to arrive at this exact moment. Trust the quiet, unseen work of your own soul. You do not have to chase what is already leaving. You do not have to force what is not yet ready. If these lessons touched your heart, share this video with someone who may need a little more peace today. Let life meet you where you are.